The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com. Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Wrestling with Johners, episode 331. And we are currently in the month of November, and we are celebrating 5 years of Wrestling with Johners. And today I've got an awesome guest, bit of a bucket list guest for me on Wrestling with Johners, but none other than one half of the Riot Cabaret Tag Team Champion, and the three-time OTT Women's Champion, Session Moth Martina. Martina, how you doing? Great to have you on the show.
Hey, how are you? I'm
very good. And lovely to have you on the show. And like I say, I just want to remind my viewers at home of recent interviews that I've had. And of course, somebody that Martina knows very well, Scotty Too Hotty. Scott Garland was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and that's the second time that Scott's been on the show here on Wrestling with Johners. And like I say, he asked to come back to promote his UK and European tour, which he's in the midst of at the moment. So shout out to you, Scott, there. Thank you so much for being a good friend of the show. And last week we kicked off our 5th anniversary of Wrestling with Johners with Tom Scarborough, renowned referee, somebody that Martina probably knows from OTT and Progress, but Tom's a fantastic guest. Go and check that one out. And of course, this is a little poster. Shout out to Elliot93, our guests for the rest of November. Of course, we got Martina on today. We got Lana Rostin towards the end of the month, Kira Chimera, Dirty Dango, Nico Angelo, Leon Cage, and of course, World of Sport legends, Johnny Saint. I've already recorded a 2-parter with Johnny. Fantastic guy. Part 1 goes out next Tuesday, as a matter of fact. So check that one out. And of course, Lana Austin, former Progress Women's World Champion. That will be on the 27th of November. But today, it's all about this guest here, Session Moth Martina. And once again, shout out to Elliot93 on Instagram and X for the fantastic artwork. But Martina, it's been an eventful and very, very busy 2023 for you so far. If you were to sum up the year so far, let's say we're 10, 11 months into the year, how would you sum it up?
It's been busy. It's been busy and very tiring, I would say. I kind of haven't even really felt like I've had much time to decompress this year. It's just been like, big show, go, little time off, go, you know what I mean? You don't really, but yeah, I mean, that's a positive complaint to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, you are a 3-time OTT Women's Champion. I think you're the only multi-time Women's Champion in OTT history, certainly the only 3-time champion. But you've got a long history with OTT, haven't you? And you were there from show number 1. You were their very first champion. Give us a quick glimpse into your journey with OTT, because it's a very special place in your heart, isn't it? And a company that's given you lots of really cool opportunities.
Well, OTT is where I started, because it's Irish-based, obviously. And it's where I started even the character of Session Moth Martina, because for about 4 or 5 years before that, I was wrestling as just Kazza G, which was, just whatever, just wrestler or whatever. And then it was OTT that I was like, oh, I'll try be Session Moth Martina. And yeah, it's been 9 years now of like absolutely incredible stuff. Got to wrestle amazing people. I've won the OTT Women's Championship 3 times. I've won the GN Championship 3 times. It's amazing, and I feel like it's my home from home. I feel like I can't imagine life anywhere other than OTT.
Yeah, and of course they've just celebrated their 9th anniversary, haven't they? And I think they had a couple of nights, Wolverhampton and Dublin. And I've got a couple of graphics to bring up, and of course on I think it was the Friday night, the first night of their 9th year anniversary celebrations, and there you are teaming up against Emerson Jane and Kanji, and a fantastic night, a really, really loud and raucous crowd in the hangar in Wolverhampton. What was that experience like, especially with your history with the company and being part of that anniversary celebrations? That must have been a pretty cool moment for you, considering your history with the group.
Well, for me, I actually got injured right before my match. So, yeah, I was very much looking forward to the match. And to be fair, I still went through with the match because I didn't have enough time to, I was stretching out right before the match before me had finished. And I just felt something snap in my calf and I had a bit of a freak out. And I just had to go through with the match and see how it went. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So I was quite grateful for that. But there was no way I was going to be able to do the ladder match the next day for OTT. Yeah. So yeah, it was a bittersweet. But Wolverhampton in general is amazing to see. We first went there last year to try and see, because Wolverhampton's always been a bit of a wrestling hub. Like, we remember that from the days pre-COVID. We used to draw huge crowds there with huge names, and there's no reason why we can't try and bring that back under a better banner now, and try and bring back the big name fields. And having Mox and Cardona last year and Mox this year, bringing them back and seeing the hangar have 900 to 1,000 people rammed into it, with a lot of me and Millie were there before, and there were a tag team there, you know what I mean, with Trent Seven back there. It's really special to have that place back, and especially with my home brand now trying to take it over and bring it along. Yeah, it was great. It's great. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be back to Wolverhampton a lot more.
Absolutely, and OTT are absolutely killing at the moment, and like I say, the people they're bringing over, the shows they're putting on, and they just seem to be one of, if not the hottest promotion in the UK and Ireland at the moment. But I want to skip ahead a little bit, and you are facing Debbie Keitel, aren't you? But I think your match has been rescheduled for the December show? Yes,
it has. So obviously once I seen the medic, they suggested that there was no way in hell I was going to balance off a ladder safely in any way, shape, or form. So, we just got to push through, and we're just going to make it happen in December. We're going to finish it out by the year. I do believe that everything happens for a reason. So now hopefully we'll just get a little bit more time and a little bit more attention on our match. Then, the stadium in the end was freaking fantastic. It was great. So seeing a lot of the lads that I've seen them start and train and getting their big moments. It was a really good show. So hopefully this just gives me and Debbie the chance to get the time and attention we deserve by the end of the year.
Absolutely. It's been a great story, and it'll be great to see how that happens. Hopefully, it'll happen in December. But I want to take you back to All-In weekend now, because you've had a tremendous 2023, a really, really busy 2023. But I think All-In weekend will stand out as being probably a highlight for you of the year. And it started on the Friday, if I'm not mistaken, at Riot Cabaret, didn't it? And there you are, the Session Twats with Crowley against the Greedy Souls, and I believe that was the match where you became the brand new Riot Cabaret Tag Team Champions. There you are, in the Clapham Grand, a great venue, a great occasion, all the balloons, so I'm sure Crowley was happy, but an awesome way to kick off the weekend.
Yeah, it was great. I absolutely love Riot Cabaret. It's popped up about a year ago. Yeah. And I think I was on their very first show, and instantly I just knew that this place was going to be somewhere special, because the production value is fantastic. The guys that run it, their view on wrestling, they just have it right. You know what I mean? Everybody that comes to the show is there for the fun of it, the night out. They are completely at the mercy of wrestling, and it's just a great, fun night to leave your troubles at the door and enjoy yourself. It's absolutely, the first time I was there, I did the Sandman entrance. So I was obviously going to love it. I was obviously going to love it from the get-go. So yeah, and then to win a belt in any promotion, especially one in the UK, a country I'm not even from, is such a big mark for me. So unfortunately I had to do it with Crowley, but wow. know what I mean? I don't mind. I'll carry the team for us, so it'll be fine.
Absolutely. We'll talk a bit more about Riot Cabaret later on, because they're doing some tremendous things, and an interesting match for yourself and Crowley, which we'll talk about a bit briefly later on. But All-In weekend continues for you inside the Defy ring, and your second match for Defy in 2023, this time in the Electric Ballroom in Camden. In front of, if you noticed him up at the balcony, but Dave Meltzer was watching from above, looking for that next 5-star match from you, Martina.
I did notice, indeed. I did hear that he had watched my match, and he said, not to me, he said to someone else in the match that it was a good match. So I'm taking that as it was a great match. But I did meet him, and I did go up with the old, so how many -stars was that match? Ha ha ha. But I got my grind photo, so that's all that matters. He was lovely. It was really nice to meet him.
You got this one here. A 5-star grind.
You should have seen me trying to get it. I was like a school. I was terrified. I was creeping behind him, waiting for him to finish his conversations. We had a lovely conversation before that, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't ruin it. But then I risked it, and it was worth it.
And then you raced off from the ballroom to Eve, didn't you? Riot Girls of Wrestling, where you teamed up with the Orange Panna Cotta. Is that right?
Yeah, it was great.
A fun tag match there. How was that to round off your Saturday?
Oh, that was amazing. It was so much fun. I absolutely, like, anytime I get to at Eve, especially when I get to tag with some people from Japan, I absolutely love the Japanese style. I love the wackiness and the craziness of the girls' gimmicks. So, yeah, it was a perfect way to finish off our Saturday night. What a way. That was great. And then after that, what was it? All-In? Party time.
All-In. Yeah, so the Sunday, there you are with the boys, Leon Slater, Michael Oku, Mal Doris. You had a bird's eye view, didn't you? And we spoke a bit before we went live, and I mistakenly thought you might have been part of MJF's entrance, but you were there. You were part of the show, weren't you?
Yes, I was. I was the bartender. That was the meant to be. It was meant to be like a little bit of an Easter egg. It was meant to be a joke, like, "Oh, we'll get you at the bar," and I was like, "Yes, perfect." But yeah, it was cool because I was up there with Leon, Doris, and all them, and all the guys. So yeah, like some of the other girls did MJF's entrance, but I did the bartender because I was like, that's me. That's my job. That's my calling.
Of course. I'm sure you had a couple while you're behind the bar as well. You know, typical.
No, I think before I got there though, because I didn't even know I was meant to be there. I got the call on the morning. I was meant to host the box party pre-show with June Money. But then that morning I was getting ready to go, and I got a call being like, "Hey, do you want to come do the bar shift at the thing?" And they were like, "You'll be on camera," and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that.
That's a pretty cool experience, really. Isn't
yeah,
it?
That was sick.
Wembley Stadium, 80,000 people being part of the live pay-per-view doesn't get too much better than that. But
just nobody noticed. That was the only thing. Everyone like nobody noticed. I was like, oh, okay, this is my big pay-per-view moment, but nobody knows. But I knew.
I close attention when I watch it back. And your weekend rounded out. I think you worked. Did you work Lana Austin on the Monday? Hooked on Wrestling, their debut show.
Yes, we did. I think yes, we did. We did indeed. We finished it off well. I think at that point I had no voice left. I just think I was done. These 4-day weekenders aren't as easy as they used to be when I was younger.
No, but I'm sure they're not easy for anybody. 4 wrestling shows, busy weekend, but a tremendous weekend for British wrestling and having AEW over. But I want to talk a bit about Progress now, if that's okay, because we spoke a bit about OTT, and I think Progress would definitely be up there as a promotion very close to your heart, one of your home promotions. They've used you pretty solidly since they came back in front of fans last January. But you main evented or co-main evented the all-women show Who Run the World back in March last year. You went over to Dubai with them in December. You've had storylines with Lana and with Lizzie, matches against Rennie Michelle and Ali Catch, and I think you even went over to Toronto for the crossover show with Defy in June. So, and I think you even hosted the show in Cardiff last summer as well. So, a pretty busy schedule for yourself Progress.
I also hosted in Dubai. But yeah, wow, I was like, You know my Progress career better than I do. But yeah, no, I absolutely love Progress. I have so much fun there. I debuted there in 2017, and not as frequently pre-COVID as I have been used post-COVID, which is great because it's such a great place to be. I love the ballroom. I love the lads that run it. I think it's really promising, especially getting to go to Dubai and Canada. Like they give great opportunities, and they're fantastic lads to work for. I really enjoy it, especially when they go to different places like Manchester and Birmingham. You get to go to different places with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a few pictures. I think that's possibly from the Birmingham show. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, me and Simon Miller.
I was at that one. That was a lot of fun. And there you are, bringing up hands. That looks like the ballroom, and this looks like Dubai. And Spike not looking too happy there.
Yeah,
But
let's be honest. I'm coming. I'm on my way.
Absolutely. I want to talk a bit about death matches now, because I think you've got a little bit of a reputation for being a bit of a death match queen, haven't you? You've done a few. You've done a few tournaments in your time. I think the first time I met you backstage was just after you did a one-night deathmatch tournament for TNT in 2021. I think there was a Legos match, there was a barbed wire chair match, and then some kind of like all-in-one ultimate death match to culminate that. But tell us a bit about your history with death matches, because you have had one or two, haven't you?
I've had a fair few. I've had a fair too many now at this point. Uh, no, I started doing that. I did a few like joke ones pre-COVID, and then post-COVID, I ended up having just like a really good like death match with like people like Clint Margera, who is he's an absolute deathmatch god. So you know what I mean. And I've had really fun ones against Rena recently. It was fantastic, but I didn't want to have a deathmatch. That was the whole point. But yeah, no, I have to be fair, I do enjoy them. They're a great crack, but like it's not something I want to do too much genuinely, because I think I've been very, very lucky at the fact that I'm not a deathmatch wrestler, but I enjoy having them, and I've had fun so far, and everything's been safe, so I don't really want to push the limits anymore. But we'll see. Like the odd time, like I do like to like I do enjoy it, so that'll always be in me. But not anymore.
Every time you have a death match, you say never again, though, don't you? Say never again. You always get pulled back into one.
Then it'll come, like DOA will come around next year, and I'll end up jumping in, and I'll want to do it. Like, don't hold anything I say seriously. I change my mind all the time.
I want to bring up some pictures from your most recent death match. It was against Rena, wasn't it, when GCW came over to the UK? And if you're of a slightly squeamish disposition, you might want to look away now. But oh well, not that picture. That's an awesome picture. There's your. I'm not sure how you would describe that. Your lightsaber, your cane of cans, maybe.
Yeah, like handle stick.
Pictures. But she is a bit of a death match goddess, isn't she? She's been in lots of death matches. There you are with the light tubes. Yeah, rather you than me, Martina, for sure. Lots of blood, too much glass for my liking. And that was a board full of carpet treads, or
carpet strippers.
Carpet grippers.
That one. That's the gross one. That's the real bad one.
But what I do like more than anything is the post-match pictures, because I just think you look badass.
Yeah, I know. That's what we do it for, lads. That's the only reason we do it. We just want the post-match cool, bloody picture. Anyone that says they don't, they're lying.
There we go. And I'm sure that's on various items of merch. But we'll talk about your merch a bit later on for sure. But the following day, yourself and Emerson had to go one-on-one, I think, back in a TNT ring. You were pretty banged up and bandaged up as well. How was that 24 hours later?
Tough. I mean, everyone did say they expected a little bit less but it's Emerson Jane. Like, she's always going to put you through the ringer. She's literally the toughest. I'd say hands down the best talent in the UK, bar none. She's incredible. So anytime you're in the ring with her, you know you have to go. And I just needed the bandages. Like, thank God she had been weakened as well by Rena. So it was fine. It was a little bit better. But yeah, no, she's incredible. I absolutely love Emerson Jane. I think she's the best.
Absolutely, and I do understand we're getting some messages through, some comments through saying that my audio is echoey, and I do apologise for that. I've had a look at it, I can't figure out what's wrong with it. Certainly not our guest's fault, it's down to me, but I will try and fix it during the course of this interview. And we spoke earlier about Riot Cabaret and the Session Twats, yourself and Crowley. It's a bit of a marriage of two unlikely partners, isn't it, really? And I don't think you really stood one another when you first came onto Riot Cabaret, but you were successful. You did win the tag team bouts, and you do shoot some pretty awesome promo pictures afterwards, of course. But tell us a bit about Riot Cabaret, because the Clapham Grand is a really cool venue. The fans are really unique as well. I think there's a mixture of wrestling fans and non-wrestling fans. The stories that they tell, the matches they have, the talent they have involved. And like you say, they've only been around for a year, but a really cool up-and-coming promotion, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd say they've fast become probably my favorite place to work.
Really?
Yeah, it's great. I love it on a Tuesday as well. As I said before, it's casual fans, so they enjoy what they're given. They love the theater aspect. They love there's a different element to it where wrestling's not taken too seriously. You know what I mean? It's taken as, they enjoy what they're given. I mean, I'm wrestling Mr. Blobby next month, so there's yeah, and I have wrestled Mr. Blobby before, so it's people are there for the fun, they're there for the crack, and I mean, I cannot wait to wrestle Mr. Blobby. How many people get to say that? So I love it.
Look at that. Jingle Bell Brawl, and he's bringing a mystery partner. Have you been kind of putting your heads together with Crowley to try and figure out who this mystery partner might be? Noel Edmonds, maybe? Who knows?
Yeah. See, the thing is now, I'm from Ireland, so I don't know these UK childhood heroes as much as everybody else. Apparently, Crowley was scared of Mr. Blobby as a kid. I don't know. I think he looks great. I think he looks like good fun. So we have to wait and see who the partner will be. I hope it's Barney.
Well, you never know. But apparently, Mr. Blobby is Brendan White's childhood hero. And when I had Brendan White on the show a few months back, he absolutely marked out over Mr. Blobby being part of Riot Cabaret. But
maybe he'll be a partner, so who knows?
There you go. The other Riot Cabaret connection I wanted to bring up, and this is really, really cool. And I found this out by going through your Instagram. And what about this mural here? Really, really cool bit of artwork there. But tell us a bit about that, because I don't know if Riot Cabaret were behind it, and that was kind of taken from a photo of you. But tell us a bit about that, because that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's incredible. That's one of my the coolest things I think I have in my career, just because it was up on a street in London for about 24 hours. And I'm not even from there. I was in Belfast at the time, so I couldn't even see it. But yeah, I think Riot Cabaret did. I think someone they knew did do it on purpose, but still, I didn't know about it. It was such a surprise to see James Musselwhite to have one of his photos up on, our street art is absolutely, it's incredible. It's my Facebook cover photo. It's so cool. I'm graffiti. I win.
You're a piece of artwork. I think there needs to be more Session Moth Martina graffiti artwork, pretty much in every town and city across the UK. But that's a good start anyway, for sure.
Yeah.
So for anybody watching at home live and you want to get in touch with the show, please send us through your questions. If you have any questions for Session Moth Martina, ping them through to us using your chosen device, and we'll do our very best during the course of this interview to answer every single one. The next thing I want to bring up, which I thought was really, really cool, and I'm sure you got a huge thrill out of, was being 83 in the PWI 250. Yeah, pretty cool. I'd say it's got some of your achievements there from the previous 12 months. When you first heard about that or saw that, did you think it was real? Did you have to kind of double check it? What were your where was your mindset at when you first saw that?
Well, keep in mind, I've been wrestling for 12 years, so I've been watching that PWI list go up since I started doing the women's one, and the PWI 500. I've been watching it for years, and I think I was in it last year as well, but I think I was a higher number. I think I was a lower number. So yeah, to be in the hundreds as well, that was that's amazing. I've never beaten the hundreds before. So even that idea was so crazy to me. Like, oh, you're considered one of the best in like the 100 in the world? No way. But yeah, it's so cool. It's always great to see that people remember you.
Is it an indication to you that your career's on the right path, even after 12 years, like you said, that you know that you've got to this level that you were hoping to attain?
I hope so. I hope so. I hope it's. I mean, I hope it's continuously on the rise. I hope next year I'm 55 or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just great to see that, you're up there with so many great names as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had a few people reach out to us before we went live, Martina, and I'm going to bring up some questions. We had Tori Samsel and watching us from over in the States. What is your favourite type of match to compete in? Now, we spoke about death matches. Well, I think we're pretty sure that's not your favourite type of match. And tag team wrestling with Crowley, for example. Do you have a favourite type of match to compete in?
I'd say I love tag matches. I really want to
Yeah.
do more. I would love to be in more kind of serious tag teams. I do love tag matches. I also love like fun scramble matches. So what I'm having at Eve tomorrow, I'm very much looking forward to as well. Yeah, I like kind of I like the multi-man feel as well.
Yeah. And we mentioned Progress earlier and your series of matches or your little mini program with Lizzie. And we had Richie, friend of the show. I really enjoyed your feud with Lizzie Evo at Progress in 2023. Do you have any favourite moments from working matches with Lizzie, either this year or for any company? But I mean, she's a phenomenal talent, and I'm sure you've had many matches with her.
Yeah, I've had loads. We've wrestled in OTT, we've wrestled in Progress, we've wrestled 1PW. We were really good. Like this year, we did so many storylines together, and I think it's just because she's just that good. I absolutely love wrestling her. I just think she's just on another level. So are a lot of the girls coming through, like Rio and Alexis Falcon and all these girls. They're just incredible. But yeah, I don't know. I remember, I think it was Dubai, maybe our Dubai match might have been our first one that really, really banged. And I remember just kind of being in there. I was nervous about hosting as well. So I was a bit like, oh God, this is a lot. We're so far away. We don't know how this is going to go. And we made the match super easy, but it was so good. So easy, so good. And yeah, she's an absolute little earth angel to me. I love her. And we're just very close since. She's like a little sister.
Yeah, absolutely. One more question that came through before we went live, and it's from Darren Ewan. How did you come up with the Session Moth name? So I think I've heard a few versions of this, few variations. But over here in England, we're probably not too familiar with what a Session Moth is. But enlighten us a little bit and tell us how that kind of led to you going from Kazza G in your early career to Session Moth Martina.
Well, so in Ireland, it's a bit of a slang term for. It used to be very popular for like a girl that like a girlfriend that wants to go out and drink all the time. She's like a moth to the flame of the cans and the sessions. She'll be at the bar. She's a hangover the next day. Just a complete out at the raves. Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a complete party animal essentially. That's the Session Moth. So, and then yeah, I just went with that. I thought it had a good ring to it, and because at the time I never thought it was going to get anywhere outside of Ireland, I thought it was just a really cool name to have at OTT, and it worked straight away because everybody was like, "Oh, Session Moth, I know what that is," and then essentially it just needs to translate into absolute mad thing.
But because I mean, your part of your gimmick is coming down in the kind of the zebra, the leopard print, and the pajamas and the can in hands and various other things. I know your characters evolved over the years, but how did it start? And was it anywhere near kind of the version of Session Moth we're familiar with today?
I mean, like it started with because in OTT at the time we had these guys doing the lads from the flats gimmick, and we just thought it'd be good to have a girl with them. So I was like, oh, if they're the lads from the flats, I'll be Session Moth Martina. So we had a little we met on Tinder, and then we went from there. It was great. It was a great storyline. That was so long ago. And then I went off and I started doing my own thing in wrestling, and just became the session on my own. But yeah, yeah, it's changed in bits. Like I've done storylines of like not being able to wrestle to being able to wrestle, etc., etc. But generally, it's just like the character is just a girl that likes to have a good time and party and then kick ass. It's I like to think of myself as a Stone Cold ripoff, essentially. You know.
Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. And I want to talk about a couple of other companies that you've worked for. One of them being Stardom, because I think you had a couple of mini tours over with Stardom in 2018, didn't you? And then again, you was over there for a few weeks at the back end of 2019, going into 2020. A really, really cool opportunity. How did that opportunity come about to yourself, and how did you enjoy your time over in Japan?
Oh, Japan was incredible. I did 3 month tours between 2018 and 19. Yeah, it was great. That's where I became really good friends with Jamie Hayter. Um, yeah, I'd say the last tour I did in Japan was probably my favorite ever. Like it was 3 months. I didn't want to come home, but I got signed to Ring of Honor obviously then, so I was going off to do that. Stardom was incredible. I feel like it just taught me so much about a different style of wrestling, different part of the world I got to see, make new friends. Yeah, I absolutely am desperate to go back because I just miss the culture. I miss the wrestling style. I miss everything about it.
Yeah, and you look so I think you wrestled all the top talent over there. You mentioned Jamie Hayter because she was on the same tours as yourself, and I think current WWE Women's Champion Io Sky was over there, and I think you actually fought her for one of the Stardom titles. Do you remember that match or much about that particular tour and Io Sky as she is now?
I do. That was like I had only been in Japan 1 week at that point, and I never felt so ill prepared or under ready. Like just
Really?
no, I was devastated with that because it was a lot to take in. I hadn't adjusted to the Japanese style yet, kind of messed a few things up in it, and I felt really bad. But like, I would have killed to have that match again later in my time at Stardom, but she had gone on to WWE by the time I would have felt ready. But you never know. One day, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. And with you having this very unique, over the top character, very entertaining persona, how did the Japanese fans react to you and to your entrance and to your style in the ring? Was that an interesting experience for both yourself and the fans?
They loved it. They loved the entrance. They would get up and dance and clap along and everything. And they absolutely loved the comedy. I actually think they were more appreciative of kind of a little bit of slapstick, goofy comedy than a lot of other people would be. They really do like, I mean, you see DDT yourself, like
Yeah.
Japanese fans are so up for ridiculous wrestling as well. They really just enjoy everything. So I absolutely adored it. Like anytime I would do something a little, very character based, they'd love it. And yeah, and also just obviously getting to wrestle some of the best girls in the world. I got better myself in ring.
Yeah, 100%. And like I say, a country I'm sure you'd love to go out there and show what the 2023 version of Martina can do. I want to talk about Eve as well, Pro Wrestling Eve, because they're another company similar to OTT and Progress and one or two others that are very close to your heart. You've had some great moments with them since about 2017, haven't you?
Yeah.
How did that kind of relationship between yourself and Eve kind of blossom back then? And like I say, you've had a really, really good one, a ton of great matches, awesome opponents, and a great history with them over the last 6 years.
Well, I remember trying to get on Pro Wrestling Eve as Kazza G in like 2012, and Dan was like, "No, like you just a regular wrestler. No, there's nothing to you." But at the same time, he's dead right because it forced me to think of something a bit more creative. And as I've been with Eve for 6 years straight, and he still gives me regular dates. So I love Eve. Eve is like, as far as I'm concerned, in the UK, Eve should be where every woman should be trying to get to. It's the pinnacle of women's wrestling in the UK, bar none. And so that is the marker, that's the bar that you should be trying to reach. And Yeah, I feel like they're always on the up. If you look at the card for tomorrow night, it's incredible. There's one of my Stardom friends I get to see that I haven't seen in 4 years. I get to see tomorrow. Recently, my tag partner from Japan was there this year. I got to see her, and I didn't think I'd ever get to see her again after COVID. So yeah, Eve is
Yeah, this is
incredible.
the show tomorrow.
Yeah, Eve is great.
Absolutely
I feel
stacked
like
lineup.
it's opportunities for the younger girls. It's opportunity for the girls that are still around. You know, after years and years and years, like it's just great. I love the Eve locker room. The women are so supportive of each other. It's just the way I feel like wrestling should be. It's great. I love it.
Any particular highlights or fond moments from your Eve history so far? Any matches that really stand out?
Millions. There's too many. There's too many. Like if you actually look at Eve's YouTube,
Yeah.
some of the old shows that you can see. Me and my friend did it recently. We just looked, and it's just crazy the names that you will see in that are in WWE now that have done mad matches in this little, this little shed down in London. And it's wild, like the people that have gone on to make such huge stars of themselves. You know what I mean? They started in the Resgal. I highly recommend their YouTube to people. It's insane. And that's what I'm saying. Like such a good vibe. It really did build
Yeah.
a lot of them stars. It's all done together,
Absolutely. And you mentioned that Kazza G never got an opportunity to wrestle inside of an Eve ring. That was until January, wasn't it?
That was indeed.
There we
I had a
go.
wrong to write. I had a wrong to write. I had to go. I wasn't
But it
not
was
getting
to
booked.
And there you are, Kazza G and Session Moth.
Session Moth Jetta, the worst Session Moth of all.
So that was a really fun show. And it was their multiverse show. And I think this is you as well as Stone Cold.
Yeah. That's definitely one of my biggest highlights of Eve. That was one of the funnest shows we've ever done. That was so fun.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I want to talk to you about a couple more highlights. Your WWE tryout in 2018, and I think that was 2 or 3 days at the UKPC down in Enfield. It looks like an amazing experience. I've spoken to other girls that were part of that tryout, and they said they took away so much, especially with the likes of William Regal being there and all the other coaches and all the talent involved. What are your memories of being part of that WWE tryout, and any takeaways from that in particular that live with you today?
God, you're bringing me back so far here. I'm forgetting stuff, but yeah, no, yeah, the fact that I even had a WWE tryout was one of my most like, no matter what, like I've had a WWE tryout, which is great. I really enjoyed it, everything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. Like, just even sometimes I have to kind of pinch myself and be like, God, do you remember you did this? Remember that it was like this? Try to remember the training and everything. But yeah, it was an amazing few days, and I got to stay on and see what it was like for people at NXT UK, staying and do the training midweek and everything like that. So yeah, it was a great experience. It was definitely one that I like to see again sometime.
Absolutely. I'm just going to bring up a picture of yourself and all the talent that went down for that tryout. I mean, for yourself, growing up a wrestling fan, was WWE always the end goal, or always the dream?
Uh, I always loved WWE, but like I think as soon as I started Session Moth Martina as a character, I almost kind of in my head had like accepted that it would never be a WWE product. Um, so even in 2014, I think I just kind of said like, well, they're never gonna want what Session Moth is because it's beer, it's this, it's that, you know what I mean? And I think I'd really accepted that. And at the time of the tryout, it was like I was really enjoying what I was doing at the time with Session Moth Martina. I had a lot of travel plans and I had Japan coming up and stuff like that. So that was kind of like, I really, really wanted to keep Session Moth Martina and keep it as
Yeah.
it was. So that was one of my main considerations for it. But like WWE for me as a person, like, yeah, like I love it. I think it's great. And who wouldn't dream of
Yeah.
going to WWE in the end?
Absolutely. And you mentioned Ring of Honor, ROH, and you were signed. You did get signed to ROH. And I think you said in one or two of your social posts that, this was the dream that got away or something to that effect. But it looked like, you were really at home with ROH, and obviously, what happened in 2020, 2021, the pandemic brought all that down. But fond memories of your time in ROH?
Yeah, very few, unfortunately, but
Mm.
yeah, I think I only had two matches there, so I had two normal trips to them, and then the third time we were in Vegas when everything's shut and everything went down. And other than that, most of my Ring of Honor experience was playing Dungeons and Dragons on YouTube from my house, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I was very excited for them that first few months when I thought everything was going to go great, but like none of us could tell what was going to
No.
happen. None of us knew. So, there's no regrets. There
Yeah.
can't be, it's just, it is what it is. You have to accept it. It's just unfortunate that by the time COVID had passed, Ring of Honor switched hands.
Yeah. Was the plan to eventually move over to the States?
I would have, yeah. I assumed within the first year of my contract, if everything went well and everything was enjoyable, I would have definitely loved to have done that. Yeah, I'd say so. That would have been the plan.
Was you signed to ROH when they did the Madison Square Garden show over WrestleMania weekend? You wasn't.
No, I hadn't even been introduced to them yet at that point. Nor did I know about my WWE tryout either. So at that point, yeah, yeah, no, not at that point. I was there though. I was near. I was in New York for
Yeah.
that show, but I didn't get to see it.
And we've had a lot of interest before going live about yourself and the various matches you had last year with AEW. And here's just a picture, I think, from your match with Ruby Soho, which aired on AEW Dark or Dark Revelation. Or whatever it's called, I can't remember now. But you had a few matches, didn't you? Ruby Soho, I think, Diamante, and maybe one more. But give us a bit of insight into how you came onto AEW's radar.
Well, to be honest with you, I think it was Jamie Hayter that got me on it. But at the time, it was yeah, it was the beginning of 2022, and I had my Ring of Honor visa still. So I had a couple of months left in that, which meant I could go to America and wrestle. So I checked that everything would kind of be good to do. So I kind of wanted to, I just had to use the last little bit of my Ring of Honor to try and just get seen by, I had to try and just get seen and get in front of them. I obviously would have hoped that maybe it would have been picked up straight away, but I'm glad I've just gone and I've gotten my foot in the door and they've seen somewhat of what I'm about, and you can only hope that eventually they'll see more.
Yeah, absolutely. I really hope so. And the other thing I want to talk about is Irish wrestling at the moment. And I think it's always been a hotbed. It's always produced incredible talents. Like I say, you can see them on a daily basis on the WWE Network, yourself as well. But if you look at people like Lyra Valkyria, who's doing some tremendous things over in the States, recently beating Becky Lynch, of all people, for the
Unreal.
NXT Women's Championship. You've got JD doing some wonderful things on Raw now, in a main event storyline, likely to be part of a War Games match later on this month. And another picture of, I think this is the Irish School of Wrestling. So some tremendous talent there. And I know that you're heavily involved with that. You must be pretty proud with the Irish scene. Like I say, it's been hot for a while now, but it seems to be in a really, really good position.
Yeah, I mean, like Jordan Devlin or JD McDonough is one of my best friends still to this day, and just to see him go from I just see him turn himself into an absolute superstar. Same with Lyra Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when she was out with an injury a while ago, and she thought that was going to be the end of her NXT UK career. And I said to her, I knew it was like, no, this is only the beginning. And I mean, it's the stuff of dreams what she got to do with Becky. It was incredible, and I cannot think of anyone that deserves it more. She's an absolute rocket. Like, she's incredible, and what a dream match for anyone in Ireland to see them two wrestle is a dream. And then it's the same with JD McDonough as well. It's incredible, so good to see.
Are you part of the coaching setup at the Irish School of Wrestling?
Yes. So yeah, we've had a few. It's amazing for the contender weekends. We've had people come in. Like I think we've had people from all over the world. We had Canada, America, um, Belgium, Portugal, Spain, France. Like I think there was near 200 people at our training seminar. It's been great, and we're only going to keep doing more and more. We've got some of the best coaches, the best coaches in Ireland. Like one day, Jordan Devlin will come back himself, and probably take one too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great to see, and there's so many young guys coming up now that it's just the scene's packed. Maybe I need to move over.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to jump to some listener questions that have come through during the course of this live broadcast. First of all, Craig Gordon watching us live via YouTube. Thank you, Craig. What are your thoughts on wrestling in Scotland at Discovery Wrestling? I think you're a former Discovery Women's Champion, aren't you?
I was the longest reigning Discovery Women's Champion, but that's because of COVID. But I was over like 1,000 days, which was so cool. I was like, I am taking that crown. Yeah, I love Discovery Wrestling. I actually miss it. I feel like I haven't been there in ages. I feel like I had a big missed opportunity with Discovery Wrestling because me and Gene Money were well on our way to winning the tag titles, and then I got injured. I feel like I'm getting injured loads this year. But yeah, I love Discovery. I really hope I'm back soon because they're one of the best setups. I love it. Alan that runs it is just an absolute gent. They're just such good shows. They're good fun. They're well run. I love the audience are up for crack. They're great. They play along. Love it. And just great crack.
There we go. And another question that came through. We've got Cigelio. I think I pronounced that completely incorrectly, but countries you've never wrestled in that you might want to in the future. So, I mean, you've wrestled in the States, Japan, any other countries that you might fancy?
Finland. I really want to wrestle in Finland. So somebody contact a Finland place. Anywhere cool. I want to wrestle everywhere. I haven't wrestled enough in Spain. So next year I'd like to wrestle more places in Spain. I want to go back to Italy. I was in Milan earlier this
OTT.
And it was great with OTT, yeah. Where have I not wrestled though that I want to? Finland for sure. Somewhere like Poland. Anywhere kind of exotic, I guess. Yeah. Maybe Mexico to see it, but I don't think I could wrestle on the right.
There's so many countries that just seem to be cropping up with the wrestling scene across Europe, especially, that I wasn't familiar with, that I'm becoming more and more familiar with as the weeks go on. But really, really exciting. I mean, I get the feeling that, 2023 has been a really, really busy and fun year for you. I know you're recuperating at the moment for an injury, but it sounds like you're having, as much fun now in your wrestling career as you have done pretty much ever.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm in a position at the moment where I'm still probably one of the busiest indie workers across the UK and Ireland. Probably like just consistently been this way, you know what I mean, for years, pre-COVID, post-COVID, kind of on every show. And that's not a lot of people can say that they've not, that they've stayed that consistent for a long time. I'm just looking at how I can break my ceiling now and how do I get onto the next level? Like how do I kind of take what I love to do and make more out of it now? How can I share it around? How can I use it to move on to the next stage? You know what I mean? Because you don't want to stay in the same place I was in 2019. And that's what I kind of feel like I'm at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, you've been an awesome guest. We've loved having you on episode 331 during the 5th anniversary of Wrestling with John. You've been an amazing guest. But before we let you go, an opportunity for you to throw out any socials. So for anybody watching or listening at home that want to get in touch, where can they do so?
Moth from the Flats on Twitter. Session Moth Martina on Instagram. Sessionmerch.com for all the merch and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Let's talk a bit about your merch though before we go, because I've been to sessionmerch.com and you've got some pretty cool stuff there.
I do.
T-shirts. I think all of these are probably still current.
They are. So the thing is,
that design as well.
Yeah, it's great. I can't really always bring merch to the UK with me because the baggage and stuff. So it's just so much easier because I work with a guy at home, heel turn for life. And he kind of helps me take care of all my merch orders, and he anything you want, he'll get it out to you as quick as possible and stuff like that. So he helps me keep my stuff as going as much as possible. So helps keep me alive and me drinking.
A calendar for next year?
Yeah, he doesn't miss a beat, does he?
There you go. Get your hands on that. But if you've got any final words, any parting words to kind of finish off this episode of Wrestling Madonnas to your fans, followers, people that have followed you throughout your career, any parting words from Session Moth Martina?
Thank you to everyone that has supported me on this long ass drinking journey. I don't know how many pints I've had in the last 12 years, but I wouldn't have had any of them if it wasn't for your support. So I love you all. And a special happy anniversary to Johners. And to celebrate that, we should have a can. It's
going to happen. But Session Moth Martina, you've been an awesome guest. And for anybody watching at home, apologies for the echo. I don't know what that's all about, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. Martina, take care. We'll see you at the shows.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye.